and the hacker governments feared. But brilliance comes with enemies, and one of them, an elite shadow network operator within a major tech giant, needed Ryan silenced. Framed for breaching a classified national system, he was dragged into court with fabricated evidence and sentenced to life in the Fortress, a military-grade prison located hundreds of miles into the desert, wrapped in heat, steel, and silence. This prison wasn't just a facility, it was a statement. Designed by former intelligence agents, the Fortress was a marvel of digital and physical security. Layers of biometric sensors, AI-driven surveillance, guard patrols, motion detectors, underground seismic sensors, and even behavior prediction software created an environment where even thinking of escape was considered foolish. But Ryan wasn't ordinary. An escape wasn't just a desire. It was a calculated necessity. At first, he played it smart. He spent the first month learning the rhythms of the place. When the drone scanned the blocks, how the guards changed shifts, which inmates had influence, and which ones traded in secrets. He realized quickly that the key to escaping the Fortress was not brute force. It was information. Every day, he collected bits of intel like breadcrumbs. He marked the frequency of sensor resets, mapped the power supply routes based on humming sounds at night, and counted seconds between door locks when the power flickered. Then he met Mitch, a former structural engineer imprisoned for a disaster he didn't prevent. Mitch, bitter but brilliant, remembered blueprints in stunning detail. They bonded silently, exchanging puzzles, codes, and theories late at night. Mitch became the architect. Then came Shade, a former smuggler and master of makeshift tools. Shade was the hands. And Hawk, a quiet, observant man who never blinked, became the ghost who tracked movement of everyone, including guards. The four formed a team, not out of friendship, but shared purpose. Ryan crafted a layered escape plan he called Shadow Thread. Each step of it weaved through the weaknesses of the system, but to pull it off, he needed to trigger controlled chaos. That's when the prison riot was born. Ryan orchestrated a fake conflict in Block C. Mitch had snuck planned for a mini gas leak that would trigger evacuation protocols, and Shade planted a shiv in a guard's locker, one known for his short temper. As predicted, chaos broke out. Guards rushed to contain it. That's when Ryan used a custom circuit board smuggled into a food crate, carefully hidden in the base of a tomato can. He linked it to an electrical panel in the maintenance shaft, accessed it using Shade's lockpicks, and managed a 3-second wireless burst into the security feed. It was enough to map the inner network. They now had a visual of every camera's blind spot, but not everyone in the prison wanted them to succeed. Someone leaked their plans to the warden. Phase 2 was initiated, then instantly canceled as red lights flooded the corridors. An emergency lockdown froze doors. Ryan barely escaped back to his cell. Hawk vanished. They thought he was dead. Ryan lay low. For 2 weeks, he changed routines, avoided talking to anyone, faked defeat. But the truth surfaced one night when he found a note shoved through the crack of his mattress. "Don't trust your team." It was unsigned, but he knew what it meant. Someone inside was playing double, yet he couldn't stop. They were already committed. He made a fake version of their plan, complete with schematics and access codes, and leaked it to suspected mole, watching how the guards responded. They ran drills based on false information, redirecting their attention to a completely different corridor. Meanwhile, Ryan updated the real plan. The new escape route? Through the incinerator shafts, only offline once every 3 days for maintenance. Hot, narrow, and deadly, but temporarily blind to sensors. He calculated the timing to the second. The incinerators powered down at 2:43 a.m. and stayed dormant for 11 minutes. Just enough. The night of the escape arrived. At 2:40, Mitch disabled the door relays from the control closet. Shade jammed the camera loops with static pulses from a repurposed radio. Ryan had memorized the entire 87-meter route through the tunnel. They crawled, sweat dripping, choking on ash and burnt metal. At one point, Shade's sleeve caught fire. Mitch tore it off, burning his own hand. But they kept moving. They emerged in the waste treatment unit. All that remained was a final mechanical gate, a relic not connected to the AI. It required a 14-digit passcode, the warden's code, one that changed weekly. Ryan didn't have it. But he did have behavioral logs of the warden, observed by Hawk over weeks. The warden favored his birthday in reverse, his daughter's initials in ASCI, and the year he was promoted. Ryan fed the pattern into his mind's algorithm. 14 seconds. The gate clicked open. But then the alarm screamed. Someone had triggered a manual override. And there stood Hawk, alive, soaked in blood, holding a weapon. "You weren't going to leave me, were you?" he asked, shaking. "I saw your note," Ryan said calmly. "You knew the mole wasn't one of us. It was the system itself. The AI tracked our movements. It learned our patterns. You fed it false ones." Hawk nodded. "It worked until it didn't." They didn't have time for apologies. They ran. Outside, a sandstorm raged, a blinding wall of dust. Perfect cover. A smuggled GPS tracker buried in the desert was pinging. Shade found it beneath a fake rock, and with trembling hands, activated it. Minutes later, an autonomous rover appeared. Old, beat up but functional. They jumped in, drove 13 miles through the storm, reaching an abandoned gas station marked on the map years ago. Safe House Charlie. There, in the basement, was a computer, a secure line to broadcast their story. Ryan uploaded every file, every recording, every log. Evidence of corruption, false imprisonment, AI overreach, and a plan to eliminate dissenting minds like his. It went viral within hours. The world saw what happened inside the fortress. Public outrage exploded. Investigations were launched. The prison shut down. Ryan? Still a fugitive. Still hiding. But now a symbol. A whisper. A warning. Some say he's rebuilding something underground. A network. A resistance. Others say he's just trying to live in peace. But everyone agrees on one thing. Ryan Kane didn't just escape a prison. He rewrote the rules of what freedom means.